everybody. It's the Ben and Jay's show. Oh, that's right. Jamel's not here tonight. Fortunately, Jamel is not here, so I am the host tonight. So Jamel will be over here on my side. We'll be dancing right now. So let's get into this. Ready? Here we go. This webinar is made possible by Access Services. Access Services is a nonprofit serving 11 counties in eastern Pennsylvania with the mission to create better ways of serving people with special needs. They've been doing it for 44 years and are only expanding their services as they benefit the needs of those in eastern Pennsylvania. So we're not going to do a raffle tonight. I didn't have time to get some ideas and stuff. So we're going to skip the raffle, Kaylee, if that's okay with you. So let me introduce myself. My name is Ben Hartranft. I am 22 years old, and I am on the autism spectrum, and I carried the trophy for the Eagles, and I was on the Ellen show. And last year, during the midst of COVID of April, I said to myself, let's start a show. And I did, and, you know, my co-host Jamel Owens has a son with autism. He has a show called The Awesome Show, and basically we tag team together on doing this. So let's get into our guest tonight. So Cassidy is an autistic self-advocate from northern Mississippi. She continues out her advocacy work with the Autism Grown Up, the Turner Syndrome Foundation, and the ARC of Northeast Mississippi. Autism Now division of Cassidy desires to help autism Turner syndrome community wherever she can. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cassidy.
Hey everybody, it's nice to be here.
Oh, Cassidy, it's so exciting to be here. First of all, thank you for coming on the show tonight. Cassidy, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so as Ben already mentioned, I am Cassidy Hooper. I am 27 years old, and I'm from North Mississippi, as he already mentioned, and I was diagnosed with a rare genetic condition called Turner syndrome when I was 9 days old, so a little after birth. And at around 16 or 17 in my teen years, I was also diagnosed with a form of autism called Asperger's syndrome. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. And now I consider myself an advocate for both the Turner syndrome and autism community. And so that's a little bit about me.
Very cool. Now, that's really interesting. I just love your story, and I love people with autism. It's not talked about a lot in girls, which is really, really interesting. So, I mean, I'm pretty shocked. I mean, I'm very excited to have you on the show tonight, and I've heard so much about you. You literally reached out to me on Instagram, and I was like, this would be perfect to have her on your show. My next question is, what inspires you to be who you are?
Yeah, well, just, the community, both communities. I met so many people in the Turner syndrome community and in the autism community as well. And they inspire me to be who I am today, which is an advocate, a strong advocate for both communities. And it's just the lack of services, especially for adults and with females with autism, is overlooked. And I think that needs to change. So that's why I'm such a strong advocate today. And so, yeah.
I think that's really incredible what you do. And basically, you are an incredible person. What kind of foundation do you do? Did you do with?
Like the organizations I'm involved with. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
As you mentioned, I was the online community manager for Autism Grown Up, which is a nonprofit organization, mostly online, especially now with the pandemic. It's based in North Carolina, and as I told you before when we talked on the phone the other day, that the founder and executive director, Dr. Tara Regan, she has two adult brothers on the autism spectrum, Tyler and Tanner, and she's also an autism professional.
Mm-hmm.
She's been doing it for over a decade, and so she has a lot of experiences. And how I found Autism Grown Up was, I was doing some research about adult services, adult resources for autism, because there's not a lot of focus on autism in adulthood.
Yeah.
And I was just looking on Google and just searching, and Autism Grown Up came up. And
Wow.
so I was looking at their website, and I decided to join. And I started talking to Dr. Tara Regan, and we got talking. And then, like, not too long after that, she asked me, she thought I would be a great online community manager for Autism Grown Up. And I was like, of course. So, we did that for a little while. And then we decided to move to a Facebook group instead. We were on a platform that wasn't on Facebook. It was away from any kind of other social media. It was called Mighty Networks, and it's just basically like a social media thing away from Twitter, away from Facebook, and all that. So for the people that don't feel comfortable, being on Facebook or any kind of other social media platform, it was just a safe space, to connect. So, and it was like Autism Grown Up, their mission is to help autistic individuals transition into adulthood, or to help them navigate adulthood, and to help provide resources and, connect with stakeholders like people, organizations, people that are doing work in the autism community, and things like that, for like autistic self-advocates like me and you, or like parents, grandparents, siblings, anybody who has connection to autism, and that wants to help autistic individuals in that period of life into adulthood. So, it's a great organization.
That's very cool. And the how do I say it? What was that called again? The Step Up program, or the autism? What was it called? I wanted to piggyback on what you said real quick.
Yeah, Autism Grown Up.
Oh, grown up. Okay,
yeah.
That's a good organization, because I went on their website, and I think they're doing some good stuff. Shout out to them. I feel like we need more services and adult services out there, which is really, really interesting. With me on the spectrum, but it's really interesting to see that, because in my perspective, what are we going to do when we get older and older? Like, what's going to happen to, are the funding's going to be still there, or we don't know. So it's really up to God, and God is really going to guide me to the right people at the right time. I'm just really excited to see how He can handle this situation. So, how did you find out you had Turner syndrome?
Yes. So, I was, like I said, I was diagnosed at 9 days old with Turner syndrome. When I was born, I had, as a baby, I had physical characteristics that are common in Turner syndrome. Like I had puffy hands and feet, which I still do, and I have a webbed neck, which is which is very common in Turner syndrome, which is like extra skin. Because when I was a baby, the fluid will build up in utero, and it caused my neck to have extra skin. And I still have it right here. That's very common. So and then at 9 days old, I started having heart issues. Wow. And I had what was called Co-Optation of the aorta. in my heart. So, which is also common in Turner syndrome. So, I had that repaired at 9 days old, and they suspected I had Turner syndrome. So they did what's called a karyotype, which is like a blood sample or a blood test to confirm whether you have any kind of genetic or chromosomal abnormality or condition. And sure enough, it came back, and I had what's called classic Turner syndrome.
Wow.
So for those who don't know what syndrome is, Turner syndrome is a rare genetic condition. It's a chromosomal abnormality that occurs in females only in females. So it's when, in genetics, girls usually have X, like 46 XX chromosomes. Well, girls with Turner syndrome, they're either missing that second X chromosome or either they're partially missing that second X chromosome. And in my case, I have classic Turner syndrome. There's classic, and then there's mosaic. When you're classic, you're completely missing that second X chromosome. So you're XO. So that second X chromosome is completely missing. And so in my case, that's my case. I have classic Turner syndrome, so my second X chromosome is completely missing. And mosaic is only partially missing, so they're not as affected. But so that's pretty much what Turner syndrome is. And with Turner syndrome, you can have like a lot of health issues, heart issues, diabetes is pretty common. Some, and then things like that. So, and I can't think of like thyroid and like all kinds of, but yeah, I'm in the 2% of that made it. A lot of fetuses that are diagnosed with Turner syndrome make it to birth. So I'm definitely God's miracle.
Wow.
It is.
That's incredible.
And it is classified as a rare condition. So not many people know about it. It was first discovered in 1938 by a guy named Henry Turner. That's where Turner syndrome came from. And still, it's 2021 and people still don't know about it.
Wow.
So
like a lot of people don't know about autism.
That's pretty much. And with Turner syndrome, it's very common for girls and women with Turner syndrome when they grow up to deal with infertility and ovarian failure, which means that I'm not able to have my own children biologically, which is hard for most women with Turner syndrome. But there's always adoption and IVF, vitro fertilization, and foster care and things like that. But there's always options to have kids. But biologically, it's just not possible for me to have. It's not safe for me to carry a child biologically.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's really, really cool. That's really interesting. So going into my next question, speaking of, sorry about that, Mississippi and stuff. What are the kinds of services are in Mississippi? Like we have tons of services in Pennsylvania. Are there any services in Mississippi?
I mean, most of the services are for like kids or children. There's not a lot for adults.
That's what's frustrating. Yeah.
yeah, and it's so frustrating, the lack of services here in Mississippi. But as you mentioned in my bio, in Northeast Mississippi, there is an ARC chapter, local ARC chapter, the ARC of Northeast Mississippi chapter, and I am the community navigator for the Autism Now division within the ARC of the local ARC chapter. So yeah, that just means that I'm a guide and resource. If people are looking for resources, they will come to me. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But like I said, with COVID and everything,
It's been crazy, yeah.
It's crazy. So, but yeah, that's what I've been doing with the ARC and the Turner Syndrome Foundation. I'm part of their what they call awareness committee. And actually, this month, February, is Turner Syndrome Awareness Month. So we've been doing a lot, like Facebook Lives, trying to raise awareness and for Turner Syndrome. Yeah. So yeah, and the ARC is basically they do advocacy for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, including autism, and they're all for inclusion. Yeah, it's a great organization as well. And as I mentioned, in Mississippi, there's summer camp that I mentioned that I went to, that's run by Dr. Mark Yeager, by the nonprofit organization called Team Together Enhancing Autism Awareness in Mississippi. Yeah, their summer camp is awesome. So if you're in Mississippi, you can definitely get in touch with Dr. Yeager. And the director of the ARC of Northeast Mississippi chapter, the local chapter here in Northeast Mississippi. Her name is Cheryl Falzone. So if you want to get in touch with her, they got a Facebook group and things like that. So, and we got a Facebook group for the Autism Now division too, and a paid Facebook page. I should actually
follow them and stuff. Speaking of Turner Syndrome, that's very cool that that February is Turner Syndrome Awareness Month, but April is actually National Autism is Autism Awareness Month. So I'm just really blessed to know that that we could that April's a really good month because that I can advocate and talk about autism in the whole month of April, and it's amazing how, and that's how I started my show. It's just like in the midst of COVID and stuff. So if I wasn't working for this company, I wouldn't be doing it. What are your hobbies?
Yeah, my hobbies are, I like listening to music, like I said. I like watching TV shows and movies. And
any particular?
I like, let's see, The Big Bang Theory. I like The Good Doctor.
Oh, I love The Good Doctor.
Those are the two main ones. Yeah.
That's really cool.
I like those.
Yeah. That's really cool.
As far as movies, yeah. As far as movies, I like a lot of, I like sad movies. I like sappy, I like romances, but I also like drama, but I like comedy too, a little bit of comedy and action and adventure. I don't like horror movies, but yeah, so I like chick flick, I like Nicholas Sparks movies, like A Walk to Remember and things like that. So yeah, I'm into that kind of stuff. I'm a girl, so yeah, those are the kind of movies I'm into.
That's really cool. Who are your role models?
My role models would be my mom, mostly. because, she's been through so much with me medically, and she
Wow.
advocated for me throughout my life. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that'll be my role model. She's my rock. So,
Wow. That's very
yeah.
cool. And God is a big role model in my life too. And God has really provided you in many different ways. So I just think that's incredible. We just got to commend your parents. Your parents are incredible, and each parents out there are incredible. And we want to thank you for what you guys are doing, even if you're frontline workers or in hospitals. My mom's a diabetes educator, so I wanted to thank her for what she does. Shout out to my mom, and just thank you for what you guys are doing. All right. We have a lot of time, so I can ask a couple more questions. But what is your dream for an autistic individual like myself?
Yeah, my dream is just to create more resources for these individuals, especially, adults,
Hmm.
and for them to live up to their fullest potential, because I know that, I know that they can do it.
Yeah,
They, they are, we are such a great community and
hmm,
incredible individuals, and we can
absolutely,
do anything we set our mind to. So,
absolutely. I
yeah,
love
that's
it.
my dream. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, quick question for you. So, I just want to piggyback on what you said about your dream. So, I have a friend, and I have a lot of friends. But I think a friend of mine. She lives in L.A. Her name is Kathy Gott, and she wants to build like a residential home type of thing, kind of like, how do I say it? But kind of like having people with special needs living there, like having an RA or something come in, and I have to send you the website, but it's really interesting. But I have to send you more information about it. But it's really cool opportunity project. But yeah, I mean, my goal is to have more of that in the future for more people with disabilities and autism, and to get more
Yeah.
jobs, to readily
Yeah.
work for more companies and do more sporting events. Like, um, what is your dream job? I forgot to ask you.
My dream job is, well, I just want to work with people, like individuals with either autism or Turner syndrome somehow, like in the field of
Wow,
that nature, just somehow helping them,
wow,
like mentoring them. Um,
wow.
yeah.
That's really cool. Wow, wow. I mean, that's what I'm a peer specialist. I got my peer.
Yeah.
You can get like your peer specialist, but my goal is to be a peer specialist to help people, guiding them where to go. And you know what? I think I could do it. And I feel like you gave me, or everybody who I have on my guest on here gives me the courage that I believe I can do anything if I put my mind to it. Like, I want to work for the NFL someday, be their ambassador, and do stuff for autism. If I put my mind to it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Which is really, like, you have an
Absolutely.
interesting passion like I do. I mean, I'm blown away like how you are amazing. You are amazing in your words, you're amazing in your actions, and I just think you are incredible. Um,
Uh,
I'm blown away. I'm just blown away. What was your parents' reaction when they found out you were diagnosed with autism? Like, what was their thought process?
yeah. So, my mom, before she kind of knew that I had some form of autism, uh, specifically Asperger's, because she did a lot of research, and she knew something was going on other than Turner syndrome. So she did some research, and then we went to a psychiatrist, and he's like, "Yeah, uh, she probably does have, she has Asperger's, and so yeah, that's kind of how we found out, and she wasn't surprised because she did a lot of research, and so she wasn't surprised at all about it. But with Turner syndrome,
Mm.
uh, like she had no idea what Turner syndrome was, so she was scared at first, but now, look at me now. So she, it's not as scary as she thought.
Wow. But at this time, we would like to open up the floor for our audience to ask any questions. If they would like to, we just ask that everybody remains respectful to others here on the show. State your first name or asking the question. Allow everyone a turn. Turn on all mics. The floor is open. Anybody can ask a question.
Glenn asked,
Oh, my dad.
Yeah, have you ever gone to a Skillet concert? Yes, I have. Like I said, I went to Winter Jam.
Oh.
I saw them Winter Jam in 2015 and 2018. So, and then I saw them in 2017 in Memphis, Tennessee for their Unleashed tour. And on that tour, I actually met them.
I want to do it.
So I met them, and they were so sweet. And I have a picture on my Facebook of me meeting them. But it was awesome. They were so nice. So yeah, how that happened, it's funny because I kept bugging people, and I'm like, I really want to meet them. And then so I met them, and yeah, so how it happened is I just got a Facebook message one day on the day of the show, and I'm like, well, who is this? And it was their management, and it was like, hey, we heard you're going to the Memphis show. Would you like to meet them? And I'm like, of course, sure. And so I actually got to meet them for free, of course. So, of course, it costs money to meet people like that, but the management just contacted me on Facebook, and they're like, heard coming, so we'll like put you on the list to meet them. And I'm like, okay. So
yeah,
I did.
I love meeting people. I've met I met like Toby Mac. I've met Matt Marr. Anybody can open up their mics and ask a question. Alyssa, you can go ahead if you want to.
Hi.
Hi, Alyssa.
Hi. How are you?
How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
I actually have a surprise for
Aw.
Ben.
What is
Aw.
it?
You ready?
Ready.
Watch. Look.
Oh, I saw that on Facebook today.
Yeah, I wanted to prepare for the big day, so.
I love it.
Okay, so my question is, Cassidy, what is inspired you to be a part of the autism community, and would you want to participate in anything that I could be a part of or anything like that?
Yeah. What inspired me to be part is, of course, as an individual myself on the autism spectrum, I just wanted to help other people that are on the autism spectrum. They're in the same situation that I am. And I would love to be a part. And I love being a part of this community. Because, yeah. So.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, what would you want to be a part of?
Like I love these interview type things. I would love to be a part of like more social groups on like Zoom and stuff now with the pandemic. Like sharing experiences, things like that, because it's good to know that I'm not alone in this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cassidy, thank you for sharing about Turner syndrome. I knew a little bit about it, but that was really helpful. And I just wondered, do you know any other girls that have it, or is there any support groups in your area?
Yeah. So.
My heart raced.
Yeah, I do know, mostly online, but I have met people and girls in person with Turner syndrome. There's some people in Mississippi, here in Northeast Mississippi, that have Turner syndrome. And there's one girl, her name is Mandolin, and she here in North Mississippi, and she has Turner syndrome and Asperger's like me. And she's younger than me, but it was awesome to get to connect with her. I met her in person like once, but we chatted online. But mostly it, like with groups, I found a lot of Facebook groups about Turner syndrome on Facebook. So, and I've connected with people from girls and women all over the world that have Turner syndrome. And so there's the Turner Syndrome Society of the U.S. and the Turner Syndrome Foundation and the Turner Syndrome Global Alliance. So there's a lot of organizations like that that are doing great work in the Turner syndrome community, and have a lot of good information about Turner syndrome for people who don't know about it. So, and a lot of like healthcare guidelines and stuff for patients with Turner syndrome to bring to their doctor. And so, yeah.
So my church at Calvary Souderton has a disability ministry, and it helps people with special needs. So my question to you is, and thanks for bringing that up, Mom. Do you have a disability ministry at your church? Because our church has one.
Oh, I know this is bad, but I haven't had time to go to. I mean, I don't go to church, but I am a Christian. I do believe in God, but it's crazy now with COVID.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are churches. I don't think our local churches have any kind of disability ministry.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I would love to be part of something like that, though.
You know what? What are you doing on Monday?
Monday? Let's see.
You talk. Because there's a group that meets on Zoom, and it's a disability group. It's called See Jesus, and they have people from like Detroit and Virginia and South Carolina, North Carolina, and it's a group of disabilities, and they meet on Zoom and they talk about the Bible.
Oh, that's awesome! I would love to be a part of that.
That's really cool. Yeah. And I feel like God has guided me to you to the right reason. So I really want to, I also say she's on that group as well. So yeah, it's a great group. And we just talked about, I'll send you some information about it and stuff. Dad, did you want to go?
Sure. Cassidy, do you have brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles?
Yes, I have a sister and a half sister. My blood sister, related sister, her name's Asia, Aja. That's how you spell it. And then I have a half sister. Her name is Christy, which we don't see often, but we don't see her very often. But yeah. So and I have two wonderful nephews and another nephew on the way. So yeah, and Christy has a son and a daughter, so they're my niece and nephew. But and uncle, I have uncles in Alabama and in Tennessee. So, and I have an aunt that lives in Tennessee, like I mentioned to Ben. So, and I have an aunt in Alabama. So my mom is from Alabama. My dad was born in Tennessee.
Oh.
My mom. Yeah.
I love Tennessee. I love Rocky Top.
The other question I had was related to the ARC. Do you work for them, or is that a volunteer? And do you do work outside of those organizations?
Yeah, it's just a volunteer position, mostly. So yeah, it's volunteer. Outside of the organization, no, I'm currently unemployed, but most of the work I do for these organizations are volunteer based. So, yeah, but thank you for asking that, Glenn.
Yeah, I mean, the ARC, we have ARC here too in the Philadelphia,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania area, and they are a great resource for helping folks. The experience I have is with folks that need help with work and those kind of things, job coaching, that kind of stuff. So they're a great organization to help the community out. So
I like it. I like it. Thank you, Dad. You made my night. Dad is my dad. Shout out to my dad. Mary or Dan, do you have any questions? I need to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I have a question. This is Mary.
Hey,
Hey, hey Ben, how you doing?
good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Cassidy, are you in college?
No, not at the moment. I did, but I withdrew. I was in a community college, but I withdrew. So for reasons. But yeah, so right now I'm currently not in college and I'm currently unemployed and I still live with my parents. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, you know what? Having some courses under your belt, that's always a help. Like, you could always go back at another time. So that's good that you got some courses taken care of. That's good.
Yeah, it is. Thank you for your question, Mary.
No problem. Nice to meet you, Cassidy.
Nice to meet you too.
So we're gonna end. I just wanted to just say a quick couple announcements. I would like to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. Keep an eye out for the next couple weeks on the Ben and Jay show, and especially for April for Autism Awareness Month. I'm very excited for that. Make sure you hear more information about everything that's going on. Stay up to date on the Ben and Jay show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, we had a great time tonight, and I'm sad Jamel couldn't be here. But on my behalf of Jamel, we wanted to say, Cassidy, you're a part of our family now. If you need anything, you can always reach out to us. And special shout out to Jamel Owens. He is the man. He's the best. And what I'm going to say is having autism is not a bad thing. It doesn't characterize who we are. Everyone is unique and special, just like a rainbow. And this week, guys, let's pray. Praying is the right thing to go to. And you know what? We need to pray. Praying to God is the right thing because we need God right now. With everything that's going on with everything, we just need Jesus. Jesus is the right thing to go to. And we need to be ambassadors for Jesus and be kind to one another. Go help your neighbor. Go do this. Let's be kind. Let's go out there this week, guys, and shine a light on Jesus. All right? And God bless you guys. I love you. This is the Ben and Jay show. Thank you to Access Services, Kaylee Tazar. I love you all. Good night.
Bye. Thank you for having me, Ben.
Absolutely.